Welcome to the Breadman Food for Thought podcast. I'm your host, Andre Swinton. And to my far right, we got DJ Eric. And to the middle, we got the Breadman himself.
That's me.
I'm DJ Eric B. You can call me E Breezy, y'all. You can call me E Breezy.
Okay. And I'm the Breadman, better known Food for Thought. You know, always giving you something to think about. You know, and that's one of the reasons why we put this podcast together, because we know, my history and background is doing, community work, community service in the neighborhood. You know, I've been making music practically all my life. You know what I mean? This is my long time childhood friend, Andre, who's been around with me for forever. You know what I mean? And to my right, DJ Earthquake. This boy is always somewhere putting on some shows, promoting some kind of events, DJing at, different venues and stuff like that. So he could give you a better insight of, give him some of the stuff that you normally do here.
I do weddings, bar mitzvahs. We do birthday parties. We do all family events. Earthquake Entertainment has been in business for over 20 years. I've been a DJ for about 40 years myself. And we started doing comedy shows and things of that nature. But we're going to inform y'all when those things are coming up.
All right, so if somebody wanted to attend one of the events, what you do normally on a weekday, like give them a little insight of where you be and some of the things the venues that you are.
Right now, I'm a karaoke DJ also, so certain venues around the city of Philadelphia, you'll catch me. You can catch me at Top Shelf on Thursday nights. You can catch me at Lou and Choose on Wednesday nights, and you can catch me at Henny Sports Lounge on Tuesday nights. So go on out and have some fun.
No doubt. So, I mean, to break the monotony of what we've been discussing, y'all, right now, one of the reasons and one of the main topics that we wanted to address with you guys today is the fact and trying to figure out why is so much crime going on in the city, what's happening with our youth, what's the problem, why is it so much murder, so much carjacking. I think as we speak today is in 2021, we just left the year 2021, and it was somewhere around 562 murders. I mean, why do y'all think our city is in such an uproar?
Ooh, that's a good question, and I really don't have an answer. I could come up with a lot of different elements.
Right.
But try to pinpoint it.
Right.
Lack of structure, lack of education, not enough things to do.
Right.
After school.
And y'all do know that we're known as a city of brotherly love, so we haven't lived up to that name. And at the same time, I'm like, wow.
I think it's something about the availability of obtaining a firearm. It seems like children is going out, going to school and coming back home with a gun. I don't understand it.
Well, it's funny you touched on that. I was just figuring about a couple years ago, I was on Hunterdon Park and I went into school. I believe it was Mastery Charter. Is I forget the name of the school. They changed the name of it, but it became Mastery Charter. And we was doing some work in one of the schools, and it's crazy because when you go into the school, it's like you entering a jail. You know what I mean? You're going through the metal detectors, and the stuff that their kids is being faced with today. It's like they're being prepared, for incarceration. You know what I mean? So I think one of the things is kids believe the things that we prepare, the things that we take them through. Is some of the things that they on their mind. So, seeing them going through metal detectors and being checked for objects, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, to assure. But we got to find a way to make it, make more sense, for our youth. So make our schools more comfortable,
Exactly. exactly. You want to keep them safe, but you definitely want to feel comfortable going into school.
Right, right.
So explain that a little bit. You said it's a bad thing.
As far as
The metal detectors and everything in the school.
just the look, like you said, the look,
Okay.
just to have to go through that.
Right.
It should be. You shouldn't have to go through a metal detector to go to school because I don't know what year y'all came out of school, but it wasn't even heard of when I was going to school, and there was no shootings in school.
Right. So what do y'all suggest as some changes that we could that could be implemented and within the school system, or some things that could be changed that would make sense, make better sense for us to do to substitute it?
I'm gonna keep it 100, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lot of bad seeds out there.
Right.
In my mind, I think not off, but I think about how can I rectify a certain situation. When I see something like out of hand,
Right.
I want to know like how can I fix it.
Right. Right.
And I don't know if it's a story that's playing in my head or it's something that we should do, but
Right.
I think we should, pardon me, have a kidnap squad.
A kidnap squad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kidnap these dudes that's out there doing all this havoc, man. Get rid of them. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know a lot of people probably disagree,
Right.
but man, come on, this
So-
should be a better world, man.
No, I mean I agree with you to a certain extent, but on what would a regular day basis be like? Like say for instance, what would we have to do? Just give me a
All right,
forecast a regular day of what you envision.
this how I envision. Investigate, find out these dudes that's doing all this ill stuff,
Right.
put together a ninja squad, and get rid of them. I'm serious. I'm serious,
Right,
man. Get
right.
rid of them.
But
Right.
you know, a lot of them kids that's into that.
But I ain't talking about really
is-
like the little kids and stuff. I'm talking about more of
Well, that's where it starts.
adults and stuff like that. I'm just saying, but
Right.
it's a lot of dudes out there that's taking advantage of the youth.
I
Right.
believe that.
Right.
You know, planting that
Right.
seed in their head and like got the youth carrying the gun because they don't want to carry the gun because they already got 2-3 strikes.
Well, one thing I definitely agree with you on is the fact of the matter that I know for a fact that we definitely need to, because a lot of the youth are really acting big and bad because they are not being addressed in that manner, like you said. When we grew up, we would address stuff like that. Like if a guy in the neighborhood and he rape a child or he do something, like we would address it. Like that you was considered bad.
Right.
Now, a lot of
The whole
now
neighborhood
today,
coming down on it.
people able to get away with stuff because everybody is so scared. Nobody wants to stand up and deal with the situation. So
Until it
I
happened
mean,
to them.
Exactly.
Until it hit them
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
No
And
doubt.
they want the whole world to go on it.
But you know, like in my travels, even like we use things like the murder rate.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm from Philly. Murder
Right,
rate,
right.
murder capital. You know, stuff like
Right,
that.
right.
As a badge of honor.
Right. Right.
You know, or to
right.
try to make somebody else scared. Like, yo, don't mess with me. You know how we get down in my city.
Right.
That don't
right.
mean I get down like that, but you know, you be putting on that front, like, yeah.
Right.
You like, oh man, Philly murder rate high, man.
Right.
Like, yeah, you know, and they carry it. I seen people carry it as a badge of honor.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Right. And sadly, that's became the profession in the city. Like it's became regular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially nothing against the young youth. And old people of elderly as well, but I say that to say like you're right. Something got to be done. Like and if nothing is done, then it's going to continue to be, the city that, we call it the city of brotherly love, but it's not living up to that name. We don't see the times. It's hard to even go to events today and without, some negativity jumping off. People don't know how to act, don't know how to talk to one another. The whole city is full of road rage. Everybody in a rush, but you driving 100 miles an hour just to get to the light. You can't get no further. It's just like everything in cahoots, but I'm praying that we, that it get better.
You can't let nobody pass you on the expressway because somebody else will get mad and shoot you.
Right.
Why you let him get around us? You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. You gotta be careful in the city.
Right.
It's rough.
Right. No doubt. No doubt. Mm-hmm. So, it's crazy though, Dre, and you touched a big topic, when you said what you said, because I think that need to be touched on more. That we come up with solutions.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think more people need to stand up and stand for something. You know what I mean? And so we could come together and address some issues. You know what I mean?
Is that solution I said about the Kidnap squad and stuff like that. I know that's an extreme, because I want people okay. Damn, that could work, but no, we don't need to go out like that. We could find a better way to make it happen.
Right.
They just...
Yeah, you was basically making an
example.
example.
They just gave us 30 million,
Right. But believe it or not, years ago, we took a lot of those approaches and it helped.
Oh yeah, that's
that's
how we kept the neighborhood safe.
Yeah.
'Cause when somebody broke into somebody's house, people went and got that person.
Right, exactly.
And dealt with that person. You ain't had to worry about the police, you had to worry about the neighborhood.
That's right.
But the neighborhood ain't like that no more.
Right.
But in certain areas, you got certain soldiers that tell you no, we don't do that around here.
Well, you know what, Dre? Like you said, look at us now. Look at what we've done. Even our families and our close-knit friends and those who's watching, I hope y'all really watching and looking at this, because all of the friends that we grew up with, y'all need to see this and be a part of what we're talking about, because in actuality, we all so independent that we don't care no more. Everybody living their own life. Like I was talking to my mom the other day, and she was saying how, it used to be a time when you check on your grandmother, you check on your grandfather, you check on the elderly. This stuff now is far from what's on our minds, and that's crazy, because how did you get here? How somebody raised you, fed you, clothed you, did what they did to make you, become the person you is today. And now it's like the youth, we don't care. We don't even honor our parents. You know what I mean? We don't do none of the stuff, the old-fashioned things that raised us. So at the end of the day, we need to start bringing some of those things back. And first of all, it starts by us staying in touch. You know what I mean? A lot of us, not even in touch no more, when it comes to our family members, friends, and stuff like that. So, I think that's one of the things that we can do better. Right. Just start by engaging and communicating.
And that brings us back to that village.
Yeah.
We lost the village.
Yeah.
Lost the village.
Yeah, we lost that.
Yeah.
So that's why everybody's going separate ways and stuff like that. We got them bridge gaps between the young and the old and stuff like that.
Right.
So there's no young kids sitting at the grandparents' knee no more, hearing these stories and stuff. Everybody on their phones.
Right.
Everybody doing their own thing.
Right.
And how you say hit on independent.
Right.
Everybody want to be independent, but you can't be independent in a dependent society, in a dependent world. We all depend on something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody will say, "Oh, I'm independent." No, you're not, because you depend on something. Even if you run your own business,
that's right.
You depend on your customers to patronize your business.
Right. Mm-hmm. No,
that's
real.
You depend
that's real.
on another country or whoever to make your products to sell.
Right.
So we all depend
on something and
on
somebody.
The sun, the moon, the star, the rain. So get rid of that independent stuff. Right.
With that being said, again, here we are. This the Breadman Food for Thought podcast, hosted by moodGroov. And what we're going to do is we're going to pay a couple bills right now, y'all. We're going to take a break, and we're going to get right back at you. But stay tuned. You know what I mean? Stay tuned. And stay locked in loaded, so we can continue this conversation. It's a good one. We'll be
Yeah.
right back at you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are back. Breadman Food for Thought podcast, hosted by moodGroov. And by the way, if you're looking and you're watching, we ask that everybody that's watching, please log online and follow us at moodGroov on Facebook. That's MOODGROOV, as well as Instagram. All right? So that way we can be locked and loaded. You guys can comment. Feel free to, message us and give us your train of thought. You know what I mean? Now, with that being said, we're going to jump back into our conversation. Before we left, we was talking about some of the things that's going on in the city of Philadelphia. As you all know, we talked about all of that. You know what I mean? And then now we just going to give kind of insight of our good world, like what's some of the things that we should be doing. What can we do to help our youth and help our good city?
What should we do to help our youth? We got to give them a little bit more structure, some more better guidance, and show them that this is a different way than to be in the streets. Matter of fact, first thing we got to teach them to do is pick up their pants. If they want to be a productive citizen, you can't walk around with your pants dragging the ground. That's some of the things we got to get rid of. It's a certain look that.
Right. Well, I know one of the things that I've been doing, with the youth for the last 7 years is I always, run my basketball league every year. It's just been a year and a half since I haven't been doing it since all this pandemic and COVID stuff going on because it's so troublesome trying to do it. But through it, I've literally had, at-risk youth and kids, that was put in certain programs and stuff like that. I was the first basketball league running the Check It Up basketball league that had kids actually playing on the court with ankle bracelets on. You know what I mean? And it gave them something to do.
That's real commendable. Huh?
Yeah, man. We pretty much, did it for 7 years. At the Martin Luther King, Hank Gavers, people that know me know we always, been a part of basketball.
And you say the reason that it stopped was because of the pandemic? So.
Well, I kind of had a little layoff, you know what I mean? And plus, with it being said, is everything, it wasn't all peaches and cream either. It was a hell of a work putting it together. Not only that, one of the things that a lot of the these youth basketball leagues and stuff are fighting with now is the violence. So you play a big part.
I was going to say that.
And trying to keep it whereas though it's not crime infested with the youth either fighting or packing. It
brings a bad element to the arena. Right. I think some little girl got shot at a basketball game in Upper Darby. They just charged the 3 police officers. I think that stemmed from a basketball event.
Right.
And
Right.
I want to touch on what both of y'all said. Eric said, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
All right. Now, a lot of times, these dudes walking around with their pants down, and they howling at these girls, and the girls don't tell them to pull their pants up.
Right.
You know what I mean? How can you let a man or a guy come to you with his pants down trying to talk to you?
That's when you're talking about structure all the way around, all the youth, not just the young boys. The young ladies need some structure also.
Yeah, well, but, okay, now...
To go out here and think you're the best twerker is the good thing. Is really not a good look. And I've been to events and seen people's parents let their children get into twerk contests and cheer them on. So it's a problem.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, I want to stay on this point, right? Because we're looking at the dress code. How about when the NBA started making the players wear suits and stuff? How y'all felt about that?
If you want to play in the professional sport, I think you should look professional.
Well, I think they don't necessarily have to make them wear suits, but at least make them come to work appropriate.
That's it.
Casual,
professional,
or just it's
a professional look. Because I think it was all because of Allen Iverson wearing the braids and that kind of look.
So should it be some type of dress code in the street?
It's
when you come out your house?
Well, I think it's just a matter of. To me, I think we got two separate things. I think we talking about, like you addressed, pull your pants up. That's just totally different. Whatever you dressed in, if your pants is down, you know what I'm saying, then you pretty much looked at in a certain way by whoever and whatever. You know what I mean? But I just think it's a thing that we should, make our youth as well as ourselves more aware of. And it could be, even just like they had campaigns with anything. You could have a pull your pants up campaign. You know what I mean? The people may laugh at it, they may say whatever, but it's just an example of ways that we could approach it. You know what I mean? And then we could educate them of why they should pull their pants up and why these things need to be done. You know what I mean? To try to change the trajectory of the mindset.
What's sad
it's all
is,
good.
why wouldn't you know that your pants should be up? I've seen people actually pull them down because they was up too high. It's like, what are you doing? It's these youth.
Like we seen it. I know. I seen it like from the '80s coming over, and I don't want to say it started on the West Coast. I don't want to say that.
Right.
But you seen it just creeping in Philly.
Right.
People start sagging in the '80s.
Right.
And then it's just like, you think it was a trend that would stop, but it just kept going.
Right.
And got worse and worse.
Right.
So.
Right.
I know there was an era where everybody was wearing big size clothes, everything. If you was a large, you used to wear a 2X. If you was a 2X, you used to wear 3X. Everything was oversized.
Right.
Shirts used to come down to here. This corner. I don't know. That was just that look in the early 90s. And if you're wearing pants 2 sizes too big, they're gonna sag. Now it's like the skinny jeans sag look, and that just look crazy to me. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
All right. Well, one of the things I know is kind of tough because when you're dealing with the youth, a lot of times when we're older or we see things in a different light, we come off as controlling. You know what I mean? So one of the things, I think we could talk about on the next segment is some of the things that, we can do as parents and as older folks to start better relating to our youth, to have better understandings and being able to come together, and see things in a supportive manner where they feel as we supporting them and not just going against them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's one of the things that's so big right now. You got the bridge gap, the age separation. You know what I mean? Whereas though if it's a certain youth, a certain age, you know what I mean? If you ain't talking their language, you know what I mean? They feel like, we don't bang with you like that. You understand what I'm saying? So it's about like us really bridging that gap and showing that we could support them, but at the same manner enhance. You know what I mean? And take part in educating them as well as they do us, because we learn things from them too. You know what I mean? So at the same time, I think that's one of the main things that we got to be careful with, because so many days when you have conversations like this, it's you either interested or bored. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of times, that's what's being with that gap separation of youth and sometimes parents or vice versa. You know what I mean? So. But I think that's one of the things that, we could talk, one of the topics we could touch on moving forward. Right.
And one thing about, now, what we just look at like the sagging of the pants, what that got to do with the murder rate? All right? Nothing. Yet. Because the thing is, a lot of times we always trying to fix the outside before we fix the inside. Because when if you fix the inside first, the outside can automatically get fixed. Because you don't even have to tell a person to pull your pants up, but when you feed him the right things, he's gonna pull his pants up on his own.
On his own.
Well,
I agree.
It's funny you say feed them the right things, and it is crazy because you just took my train of thought of what I was thinking. It's like like in our house we got a couple animals. We got a couple cats and we got a dog. And the cats and the dog gotta be fed every day just like you do. They gotta be, come dressed, and feel wanted. You know what I mean? If you don't do those things, you're gonna know that your relationship with that animal is not that tahid. You know, because they're gonna let you know just as well as we let each other know. It's the kids the same way,
Right.
the youth the same way. At some point, you gotta have an interest. At some point, we gotta give them a stage. At some point, we gotta engage with them to the fact that they know that we care. And when you show them that, I know, like with a lot of young boys that I talk to, and possibly, came up and helped raise and gave them inspiration, and as well as I learned from them, because that's how we keep our ear to the streets on what's going on. It's only we need to know, you know what I mean. But with that being said, it's like, you got to do the same thing with them. Like, you got to give them show them that, you interested in supporting what they trying to do, and do it in a way that, it benefits all of us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
But that's when a person pay attention. It's like if you're in a house with your child,
right.
your child drawing on the wall, and you spank that child and tell them don't do it no more, right? How about you tell that child don't do that, and daddy go and get that child a book to draw, so you could foster in his creativity, or her creativity,
right?
So that's when okay, my child like to draw. Maybe he or she gonna be an artist.
Right.
Let me give her the tools that she need.
Right.
Stuff like that's how we got to support them.
Right. It's funny you say that because like both of my sons and my daughter, like one thing I've always tried to do. I ain't gonna say I've always done because I ain't gonna never be perfect. But one thing I always tried to do is instill in them the dream that they saw in a future. Like for example, like I always big up them. Make them feel like something more than they're I won't even say that they're not, because they are that person. You the person, what you get in is what you get out. And what you put in is what you pretty much get out. And what I always try to do is let them know, like, no, you that person, like, do that. You there. A lot of people, I see people, like when I was telling somebody the other day, and if you down the kids, it's a way to do things. You could tell a kid, hey, don't do this, without really making them feel down, without really taking their energy, without bashing them. You know what I mean? Without the same time, you could flip it to where as though they could feel like they learning from you and leave the conversation or leave your presence inspired. You know what I mean? Man, like, yo, I can do this. You understand what I'm saying? It's all of the way that we, that's what my parents, I'm thankful that my parents was able to do to me, that made me want to be a go-getter, because even though I still got out in the street and I hustled and I did what I did, but I did it with a mindset to take care of something.
Right.
It wasn't just like, okay, well, I'm out here and, I'm going to run into a brick wall, because we wasn't looking, we was grinding, we was really grinding for a reason. You know what I mean? To get from one thing to the next. You know what I'm saying? So, it's all about, it's a perception in life, you know what I mean, that we do and we take. And I think that's one of the things that moving forward, all of us as a people and with the youth, you know what I mean, we can come together and have a better understanding, and how to raise our kids and also raise ourselves and keep everything tight, get back to some of the good things that we had going on, you know what I mean? So
next week we're going to touch more on that, and we are kind of like running out of time.
Okay.
So we want to. You want to close it out?
So with that being said, we want to thank everybody that's been listening, that's been tuning in. We want to thank you, and like we said, log online, follow moodGroov. That's MOODGROOV on Facebook and Instagram. No matter who you are, Your word means something. Your opinion count. We're going to be here every Thursday, you know what I'm saying, to the Breadman Food for Thought podcast, because you are your counterpart. You are your own counterpart, you know what I mean? So we do what we do. Peace out. Talk to you soon. See you next time.
Peace, peace. See you next week.
Flaunt that